look at that. And see, it's sitting up here. Like this here. Yeah. You're gonna stay 3 months.
Well, we're gonna probably triple.
So this bin will end up with 15,000 coho.
15,000. So what kind of food did you guys feed?
What do we feed? So the hatchery will provide us with food in pellet form.
Okay.
And then the weight is based on the feeding schedule that we're provided. So in the past, it's been anywhere from like 12 pounds a pin to like 35 pounds per pin. That day, the Home Depot bucket's fairly heavy. I can tell you that. There's a lot of little Dixie cups that is a field trip group. Because that's what we give preschool field trips. We give them like the little Dixie cups that you get at the dentist. Yeah. You can imagine we spend more time filling them.
So what they gonna if they have field trip to see these things and you guys what is it? What you have the one from Home Depot to fill out all this food.
Oh, how when?
And do you guys need a volunteer? Yeah, look at that. Wow, that's a lot.
Let's see, and close to the end, they
Yeah,
shoot out of the
it's hard.
It gets thick. You can see them moving around a little bit.
Are they hungry today?
Probably not, because they came from Marblemount 2 hours in a truck doing this. And then they got shot down to 115 feet of tube into saltwater for the first time. Pacific, I'm going to say they're going to tell me probably Saturday is the first day to feed. Is my guess. Based on years past, that tends to be.
Okay, my question is when they have field trips to come here to sail, then you have little cup, right? So, and fill up all that food that the kids eat. So, do you need a volunteer to do that?
We love having volunteers, especially on field trip day.
Okay.
Because we typically get anywhere from 15 to 30 kids on field trip day. So we kind of split them evenly between the two pins and just let them go to town.
So, how you will know the date? What's the date?
You and I are going to connect after
Okay.
this, and I'm going to give you my card,
Okay.
and we're going to get in touch.
Okay, thank you. I like to volunteer.
Oh yeah, we
Because we
love
did
it.
this in Anchorage, Alaska.
Okay.
Wow, look at this.
So you can see them right here.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. It's just like smelt when they come.
Exactly.
It's going one time. They're always in school. That's what we call it. They're always in school.
Yep. They are always in school. These guys are no different.
How is the pen material holding up the screening?
The net.
Yeah.
So the net we have hooked on to some anchors in the pin itself, and we've attached those, slid it on, and then we've got 1x4 that we've slid on top of that, and then nutted that off.
But it's holding up very well.
It
4
holds,
years.
yes. We've not seen any damage, and we just put the nets in last week. So the nets are only in while while we have fish, and maybe the week before and like the week after. And then they get pressure washed, which takes about 5 hours a net. And you look wonderful and smell wonderful afterwards. And then they get hung on one of our storage unit buildings to dry out and to defuzz a little extra. And then we store them in these nice large totes and don't look at them again till it's time for fish. That's kind of our routine. And when the nets aren't in the totes, we have wheels that move. We have caster wheels like you would see on scaffolding. And that's what we use to move these pens. And shockingly enough, they move really well. Like they actually can push this pen into the water this morning. If that tells you how easy these wheels. Granted, sometimes you got one that's a little wonky and you gotta do a little extra, but aren't they beautiful? Look at them go. So you guys can kind of see how they're that 3-4 inch size now. Like I said, at release, they're gonna be about double that on average. A couple years ago, we had one. He was this big, I swear. Yeah, I don't know how he got so big.
He was eating his brother.
That's the only thing I can figure. He was huge. Wow. It's the last push. Looks like he's got his truck tilted as far up as he can tilt it. There's a second truck. Yeah. Yeah, so Grant, it was down here originally with us from Fish and Wildlife. He said once we got this pen going, he's going to go get his truck ready. So what we'll do is they'll close off the tank on the truck, unhook the hose, he'll pull out, Grant will pull back in, and then we'll do the same thing in the other pen.
If there's any casualties in there, do you have to remove them?
We
Are they
do
gonna be
remove
floaters?
them if they're floating, and the main reason why we do that is we've had kingfishers. They are just small enough to get through this grating, but not small enough to get back out. So we try to catch those as quick as possible as well. But no, they just go for the dead ones, which is odd to me. But I don't know if it's because they can see the dead ones and they're not, they're not really moving. But yeah.
It will float if it's dead.
Actually, we've learned some of them do not. Yeah. Some of them will sink down to the bottom. Because that was our assumption too. We're like, oh yeah, we're only floaters. That's all that we'll know have passed. Not the case.
You have to test the water?
No. They do sometimes ask before release a few weeks if we can catch a few and weigh them just to make sure that we're feeding the appropriate amount of food for what size they are. And I think it was 2 years ago, we caught 50 of them, put them in the Home Depot bucket, weighed them like we do the food, gave that information to Fish and Wildlife, and they were like, oh my gosh, those things are way bigger than we thought they were going to be by now. You got to amp up your food. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, we're following your schedule. So, apparently Oak Harbor has very salmon-happy waters, and they were very excited to be here. Of course, they'll eat insects, and they'll eat some of the, like, arthropods or small little crustacean type is the best way I can describe that as well, on top of their prime rib dinner that they get 3 times a week, where they don't have to do anything for it.
What was the reasoning for moving from the north pier to here?
This is just for delivery day. We'll
Okay.
actually move these guys over to D-Dock either later today or tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. As I say, that has to do with how much hose.
Yes. She brought some extra today.
Yeah, feeding will be at D-Dock.
Okay.
We'll start feeding them tomorrow.
Oh, we're doing it tomorrow? Okay. Well, I didn't know if the hatchery wanted us to wait. Last year they had said wait.
So how do we get to that?
You actually just go on the other pier and it'll take you straight down. And there will be signage on the pens. Granted, you all kind of know what they look like now, but we'll have signage saying these are the salmon net rearing pens. One sign has a salmon life cycle and our big sponsors.
Where did you see the ones that returned? You got pictures of the ones
Just
that
right
returned?
over
It was
by
right
the lunch ramp
off
there.
The launch ramp.
Yep.
Okay. That's wonderful for you to catch those when they return.
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, it made my day.
Lucky.